Heroes of Cabernet lets me talk to some great producers around the topic, the idea of Cabernet Sauvignon. And we have traveled high and low all over the great state of California with this particular project. And now we're going to look inside of Paso Robles with a great up and coming producer. I want you all to know about Lopai. And we're with Mr. Lopez, Paul Lopez, and his son, Brian Lopez. They own Lopai. Welcome to the Heroes of Cabernet, Paul.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
I'm excited to talk about you got so much going on, and it's a really cool story. You and your son started Lopai. I need to know a little bit more about the background, so this interview will be very insightful for us. But I got to taste your wine with you, I don't know, about a year ago, and it really kind of set me back. I wasn't necessarily looking for a Cabernet blend from Paso Robles, but when I taste your wine, I love how different it is. I love the unique angle that you're taking. But what got you excited about Paso? How did you guys get started? All that.
I've been around Paso since about 1980. I think there were just six wineries back then. And I was working the grocery business and fresh produce, retired in 2010. And prior to that, probably the last 10 years, I'd been helping friends here and there with wineries. I was making a little bit of wine at home. I started with Chris Cherry late 2010 after a trip to Bordeaux and kind of got the bug there, just making the wines in a bigger facility like that, even though he's not that big.
Mhm.
But really loved Chris, Cherry taught me a lot. He still does to this day, and I appreciate him. From there, I went to help Bob Tillman and Maggie Tillman open the new Altaclina winery they were building. And I was with Bob and Maggie for a little over 4 years as well, and ended up at Denner Vineyards. Um, as I was at Denner Vineyards, we started making the Lopai wines there. And in 2019 is when my son purchased 71 acres on Vineyard Drive, and we continued to make the wines off that vineyard at Denner.
And you got a new chapter opening up as you guys just bought another wine producer, and you're gonna reposition your brand there at Windward Cellars, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Purchase closed in kind of early June, and we've been in the process of remodeling the existing facility. We'll be starting the new tasting room remodel here probably in the next week or two, and we should have that tasting room open by the first part of March if everything goes well.
Well, Paso is a beautiful place, and the growth in Paso has been tremendous. And I still think it's got, many legs up that, whether it's, new brands or established brands, but the communications out of Paso, in, what the world's finding out about Paso, I think it's still a very young story. And there is no like Paso wine formula. There's so many new ideas and grape varieties, and you could go in so many different directions, whether it's the Spanish wine direction or potentially Cal Italians or the cab angle, the Rhones.
No, I would say the inspiration behind it, even though we love Bandol Mourvedre, this one was more Spain inspired. The Juan Gil wines, he makes a wine called Clio. He makes other wines as well, another one called El Nido. The Clio is more of a Monastrell or Spanish clone Mourvedre that excited me the first time I tasted it. It was blended with Cabernet Sauvignon. And that was the thought behind making this wine. I had a great opportunity to pull a couple of tons of Denner fruit, the Cab and the Mourvedre 2019. I only made 4 barrels of it. It became our first bottling for the Lopai cellars. So yeah, that was the inspiration.
Um, this has got richness and texture and complexity, and I think because it's not potentially like falling into a category, a reviewer might taste this wine and have to be a little more critical. And you guys are kind of defining something, an idea for Paso that isn't necessarily, sunk in stone. And I think that's a great place to be in. You're maybe part of a spirited evolution. And, maybe the next winemaker that comes along says, I was inspired by the heliotrope. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be.
But in the meantime, we've got this 2019 Paso blend that you and your son have put together, and it is delicious. It is unique. It is nicely priced. Uh, you guys got a lot of value here, and you got a up and coming story. How soon will the Lopai tasting room be ready?
If we're, it depends on construction, of course, and some of the rainy weather coming up, but I would venture to say if we can get in late February or first part of March, we'll be sending some emails out and letting people know, possibly some social media. We're very excited about it. We're sharing that project with Anthony Yunt from Denner Vineyards and also Royal Nunsuch Farm.
Mm.
Uh, he has been an inspiration not only with for me, but my son as well, especially on the vineyard side. Anthony's so versed in those both of those sides. So yeah, I would hope by at least the first part of March. Yeah.
Well, when it's ready, please let us know, and we're going to make some noise for you. And I'll of course be up there to visit with you. And I want to see everything else that you've got going on. I'm going to taste your wine now with our audience. Is there anything you want us to pay attention to? Anything about the production of this wine that we can really kind of talk about and take to the next level?
I think this wine, what I was most excited about is the texture of this wine. I think it shows what's interesting to me is when we were tasting barrels, we'd taste the barrels at 6 months in, we'd taste another 6 months in, and each time we tasted it, the Cabernet would take over. The next time we taste it, it was Mourvèdre.
Mhm.
So it just kind of evolved in the bottle as well, doing the same thing, which excites me because it doesn't seem like some linear wine. Um, and there's a little touch of Cab Franc at the end there. I think it just needed something in the middle, and that's where that Cab Franc came in. But I think you'll find that if anyone purchases one or two or three bottles and they put a couple to the side, remember or take some notes each time you taste it and see if it changes on you like that.
We'll carry your wines with pride and look forward to discovering the next chapter.
Ian, thank you for your support of the wines and look forward to doing more. We'll share more with you when we have more to release.
Awesome. You take care.
All right, cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.